Hello Capricorn, welcome to your weekly tarot reading here on Dove and Serpent Tarot. This is for the week of February 19th through 25th. Please like, comment, and subscribe to the channel, especially if this reading resonates with you, okay? This is going to be a general reading, so try to be open and receptive to whatever may come through during our time together. I am merely the messenger, and I ask you to connect directly with each card and use your own intuition to take you beyond the details that I'm providing, okay? Remember that the most important part of any tarot reading is you. And here we have the Hierophant card. That is really some wonderful energy. Let's put that into some context using our Dove and Serpent spread. And we'll see, let me scooch these over a little bit. And we'll see how this, might play out, because the Hierophant really is some strong energy. And so far, that's the only major arcana card that we have. Yeah, that's going to be the only major arcana. So I think that's going to be a very important card. Let's do our mystery card, bonus card, confirmation card. We're going to use the Antique Anatomy Tarot deck. And we're going to just randomly select a card. We're going to leave that right here. We're not going to look at it until the very end of the reading. You know how it works. You got to stick around to the end. And that card is hopefully going to tie everything together and give us the confirmation that we need at the end. Okay. So we do have a lot of air here. A lot of air even with this Court card. And then there's some water in that major. There's some more water, air and fire. It's balanced, sort of, but a lot of air. Too much air. Now, Capricorn, I hate to say this, but that pesky air sign seems like they're back again. Now, I know we say that every week, but for some reason, you've always got a lot of air in your readings. And I think the air is manifesting as just like this, I don't know if it's not trouble communicating with people, but there just seems like there's always some kind of issue going on with other people, either with them causing mischief, or it could be gossip, it could be miscommunications, it could be difficulty sharing information, exchanging ideas, like getting our intentions across. Let's start with this Hierophant card, though. I think we're going to start and probably end with this one. This is the Hierophant. This is some earth energy. I think you have a real desire to help people. You have like this real strong like teacher kind of vibe right now. It's almost like maybe you're trying to mentor someone. Okay, I think I might know who. But I really feel that you have a lot of wisdom. You have a lot of knowledge and experience. I think that you've done amazing things in your life. You have a lot of varied experiences. I think you've tried a lot of different kind of jobs. Maybe when you were younger, young adulthood, maybe you just experimented with a lot of different things to find out what you like, what you don't like, And I think that you kind of are in a position now, maybe not by choice, but I think indirectly by choice, It's not that you wanted to become a teacher or a mentor or a guide or, an instructor of some kind, but because of the nature of your life, because of the work that you do, and because of the situation that you're in, you've kind of had to take on that role. Okay, it could be that in your business, in your career, or in I say in your work, but we're going to use the great work, capital G, capital W, right? The great work, not necessarily what you do for money, but it's the activities that you do in the external world that lead to the most spiritual growth, right? So it could be your career, your job, your employment. It could be any kind of creative project or outdoor activity or any activity at all, literally anything. But it has that spiritual component. It has a deeper meaning for you in that it is facilitating your soul growth, okay? So when I talk about work, I don't just mean career. All right. But when you're involved in whatever your great work is, whatever your purpose is, whatever your kind of daily activities are, you're in some kind of more than a leadership role. It is now more of like a mentorship. like you're still the leader, maybe. Maybe you've kind of delegated the more day-to-day responsibilities to someone else. And you're now more like a benefactor or a guide or a more of a spiritual leader or an inspirational person now in someone's life. Okay, and I think you've always kind of had that skill or that talent, that spiritual kind of ability to inspire other people, to and not even really on purpose. I think other people see you and they're inspired. They can't help it. I think they see the kind of life that you've led. They see the way you handle yourself, the way that you interact with people, the way that you try to solve problems. Because I think the way you try to solve problems is very diplomatic. I think it's done with a lot of love, but it also has that component of making every moment like a teachable moment, right? Make everything a kind of learning experience. It's okay that we're having this fight, this conflict, this argument, this disaster, but we're going to learn from it. We're going to do it together, and we're going to learn. So you're as much a teacher, an instructor, a guide, a mentor, as you are a student. I think you have this almost insatiable desire to learn, to grow, to expand, to just take in new things, new information, new ideas, new vibes, new experiences in general. I think that you're very, you have this really kind of, not scientific, but very like experimental, very outgoing and experimental aura about you. At least this week. I think this is kind of the mode that we're in right now. And I think that you are looking for any way you can to really learn from the experience, learn from the situation that you're in now. You're trying to look at the silver lining to things, Because again, I see all of this air surrounding you, and we've got this water, this Seven of Cups right here in the middle. Just looking at that, I don't even want to read it, But we have to, and it's going to be okay. And I think what is really bringing us through this is this Hierophant. This is your, in some sense, this is your commitment, your devotion to your higher self, your spirit guides, your guardian angel, God, goddess, deity, universal mind, universal energy, the absolute, the void, whatever you want to call it, right? We keep adding to the list of names. It's none of these and all of these, but it's your commitment to that. So you're in some ways like a student of these powers, these forces, this mystery. And you have some trust in that, right? So you know that whatever situation you're in, this is where you need to be. This is where you're going to do the most soul growth. You're going to have the most transformative kind of energy going through this situation. Now, I'm not saying it's going to be a terrible situation. I just am saying there's a lot of air that we have to get through, But you're someone that will learn from every experience. So in some ways, this is a very positive experience because you're going to gain something. You're going to learn something, right? And maybe I'm not going to be able to tell you what that is. I really doubt that we can narrow it down. I think it's going to be unique for everyone. I think it's going to be colored a little bit differently. We have the same air energy, but the details are going to be a little bit different, okay? And that's where your intuition needs to kick in. So, let's go to this recent past, this Princess of Swords again. A younger, I think, feminine energy air sign person is back. And this, for several weeks now, this person has been in and out of your readings, in and out of your life. I think that you thought you were kind of rid of them, then they came back. There's more mischief. They just wanted to rehash things. They just wanted to open up another can of worms, right? They wanted to just restart all of this stuff that we went through, right? You thought maybe the mischief was over, the conflict was over, the static that you had with this person was resolved. And then they kind of said, no, wait, I'm not done. They came back, and then it happened all over again, right? It's the last several weeks for you. And now I see that they're kind of back in things again, but in a different kind of way. They're not, they're more now of a kind of subordinate. It feels like they're kind of now they've they've admitted their mistakes, they've acknowledged their kind of faults, and they're almost now looking to you for guidance. And that's where this kind of Hierophant mentorship kind of comes into play. They're just saying, look, help me. You know, can you show me how to do this? Whatever it is. I still think that this person is always in your life because they're a family member. But I think that they're maybe like a younger niece or nephew or cousin, something. Could be a younger sibling. But I feel like this is kind of a work and a family thing. It's almost like you're in business with your family. And I know I say that every week, but every week we have a similar kind of setup, right? And this isn't intentional. I don't plan out any of these readings. This is all just as unexpected to me as it is to you. I guess, but maybe by now we should be expecting it, right? There's a lot of air to get through in your life. And the air really is all about the relationships. How are we relating to the people in our lives? Well, I think this week with this particular person, they're looking at you to be their kind of mentor, their guide, their instructor, their teacher, right? Show them how to do it, whatever it is. And I feel that they are kind of still a little bit of a brat, right? They just the way this card looks even, the swords up, they're kind of fighting off, like they're there, they want to, they want to be like at your feet, receiving your wisdom, right? But at the same time, they're resisting it. They're fighting against it. So it's a challenge. It's a challenge for them, but it's a challenge for you. And gosh, where to even go next? So much air here. Let's finish with the air and then we'll get to the water, okay? The air at the top of the Path of the Dove is the Nine of Swords. I think usually this card's about cruelty, about malice, about some really negative exchanges between people. But I think in this case, this is really about this air sign person admitting what they've done. They feel the guilt and remorse for the mischief that they've caused, for just the upset, for the really kind of ridiculous trouble that they've been causing for no real reason, okay? And if you want to go watch the previous readings for you for the last few weeks, if you want, and see how this situation's kind of evolved. But I feel like now maybe they've had like a rude awakening in their life, you know? Maybe somebody really told them the way it is, and they kind of woke up to their actions. And they just feel like, yeah, I feel bad for how I acted. They still have that immaturity about them. So in some ways, it's just about like impulse control. They're adults probably, but they really can't help it. They're still growing. They're still trying to learn. And I think that they've realized that you're someone that they can learn from, that they can take this kind of wisdom, this experience that you have, to try to get some guidance and some direction in their own life, okay? So it's just like, kind of an enemy who's now come and is begging you to like be part of your clan, to learn from the master, right? So there's still some animosity there. We got the Nine of Swords after all, right? There's still some animosity. There's still some like mistrust, some suspicion, maybe even like you just really don't like each other, But I think that they also have this feeling of guilt and remorse, and they're trying to make up for it. They're trying to do the right thing, and they're trying to ask you for your guidance. Okay, and that's what I'm feeling with the 9 here. Now, we've got the 10 of Swords down here beneath everything, but I feel like there's a reluctance on your part to kind of accept this mentorship. I don't know what else to call it. You want to say, okay, fine, you can come back and I'll kind of, show you the ropes and stuff. But at the same time, you still feel hurt. It's like we're kind of trying to incorporate the I Ching in some of these readings, right? So this is a card that kind of represents Capricorn. This is an image of a wounded bird, okay? And I think this is a little bit appropriate for the situation that's going on right now. I feel like you're still you're still a little bit wounded or injured from this situation. You still aren't really happy. You're not really ready to forgive this person yet. You still feel hurt. And like this wounded bird, I mean, they're still going about their activities. They're still pushing on the best that they can. So they're still doing their duty. They're doing what is natural to them, right? They're still flying around looking for food, looking for their nest or their mate or whatever we're doing, right? Trying to succeed and fulfill our goals. But there's still this sense of injury. It's like you've got one engine down. You're just not quite 100% about things. And that's, I think, another reason why we have a lot of this air energy here. And especially the 10 and the 9 that we see, because there is still this 10 of Swords down here at the bottom. This is like some suspicion. This is some almost feeling like this person's trying to pull a Trojan horse on you. That they've come to you with this remorse, this guilt, this apology, wanting to now become your student, let's say. And you're just kind of looking at them through the side of your eye and just like, you don't believe it. You think they're up to something again. You think that this is just a trick, right? And it's because you don't feel that you're flying at full capacity. You're not 100%. You're still like that injured bird, right? That, when a bird is injured, they're going to be a little bit more ready to fight other people, right? Like a wounded animal is going to kind of lash out more than normal. And kind of avoiding people, avoiding situations that might overcome you because you're still injured, because you're not at 100% yet. So I think whatever this person's relation to you, I think it's like a love-hate kind of thing. And we'll get to that when we get to the path of the serpent here. But we're still on this 10. I think this is basically just a suspicion, not trusting this situation, not trusting what they're telling you, this apology, this remorse and guilt that they're expressing. You don't buy it. You're not buying it, okay? And I don't know what to do with this just yet. I don't know what to tell you. We're going to get to this Ace of Swords in a moment, but first let's deal with this water. This is the 7 of Cups. This, on the one hand, is still talking about you being injured from this person, this kind of repetitive situation with them. It's always the same with this person. I think you've allowed them back into your life many times, and they just keep doing the same shit. It just keeps happening. So now why would you fall for it like a third time or a fourth time or a fifth time? So I think you're still hurt from the situation, and that kind of that memory, that pain is still present. So you're not so easy to accept them back again, right? And then also with the 7 of Cups, I feel like because of this situation and because of the past and the way things have been going, I think that you're kind of you're turning toward more things of comfort, let's say. It feels like you're indulging in more things that you turn to when you don't feel well, right? Like if you're sick or you're injured, well, that's when you stay home and you get to eat a bunch of ice cream and you get to just relax. And you know what I mean? It's kind of that. I don't know if anyone else does that. I do. But it's just like you're indulging in things that are going to make you feel better, but that aren't necessarily going to make you feel better, right? They're not necessarily good for you, but they're comforting. Right? They're comforting. Food and rest and certain types of indulgences, different people, different situations, maybe a certain room in your house, maybe your bed, But I just feel like that's kind of where we're at now. And it's just, it goes back to that injured bird kind of thing, right? The injured bird is going to stay by themselves. They're going to just kind of find a nice, comfortable place to rest and lick their wounds. Right? It's comforting. I had a cat that she was eating dry food, right? And she would always lick her belly. And I thought it was just so strange. She'd always be licking her belly. And I realized that it's because she had a tummy ache. I switched her over to wet food. She was fine. But I think that we all do that. You know, when we're feeling some kind of pain or injury or discomfort or hurt in some way, we tend to lick our wounds. We tend to go to those things, those soothing, maybe stemming processes and habits that will make us feel better, even though they're not necessarily good for us, right? She would lick all the hair off of her belly and she'd get a little, abrasion there on her tummy. So it's not necessarily good for us, but it's something that's soothing. And I think that's kind of where we're at, and this is giving us also that readiness to defend ourselves, this readiness to lash out if we feel that we're under any kind of threat, because it's like a wounded animal, right? So there's a reluctance to accept this person back into things. The immediate future, however, is this Ace of Swords. Now, this is you making a decision. This is you getting some sort of clarity. I think that you're going to see certain signs that are going to give you the answer. And I don't know what that answer is. But I feel like in this situation, you're going to perhaps see something from them that's going to give you the assurance that you need. Right? There's going to be some revelation, something that you'll witness, something that you'll overhear, something that you'll observe that's going to tell you what is really going on here. All of these swords are going to kind of resolve into this clarity. So the clarity is coming. Now, I don't know exactly what that clarity is going to look like. Okay? But let's transition to the path of the serpent here. Because we see some more cups energy, 5 of Cups. I think you are severely disappointed in this person. Again, it feels like they're a relative and they just keep letting you down. So I feel like there's a real disappointment, a real reluctance to accept them back in. And this is just kind of, you've been in this process of kind of recuperating, recovering, like licking your wounds and just trying to get over this situation, with this kind of comforting but maybe overindulging 7 of Cups. And now they come back in and your emotions are just getting stirred up all over again. You're just getting upset all over again. Okay? And that's with the 5 of Cups. Pretty straightforward, pretty simple here. Okay? And I think that your emotions are starting to cloud what the real truth is, what the real, what is Spirit really telling you to do? Now, I almost thought we would see a 5 of Swords, but we've got the 5 of Cups, which is still kind of the same idea that we can put forth. I think your true kind of spiritual insight, this clarity that we're looking for, is underneath all of this emotional weight. All of this pain, all of this upset feeling that's still there is kind of clouding your better judgment. So what we need to do is get out of our emotions a little bit, put Spirit back on top, turn this pentagram the right way up, and detach a little bit from the emotional weight. Get ourselves out from under it, out from under the 7 of Cups, out from under this emotional upset, so we can get to this clarity, this Ace of Swords, right? And that's going to be the real insight, the real clarity about how to handle this situation. Okay. Now, we're not going to tell you what to do. I'm not going to tell you how to handle the situation, because I probably have in past readings, and guess what? The person's back again, so I don't think it worked. The environment, the biggest asset that you have or your relationship with that person is love. So I feel like there's a family connection here. I feel like it probably is a sibling, a niece or nephew, a cousin, younger cousin, something like that. Could be a child, could be a grandchild, a younger family member. I feel like there's a lot of love there, but this is like I said before, it's kind of a love-hate thing. There's always going to be that blood bond between the two of you, but I really think you just don't like this person because of the way they've behaved, the way they've conducted themselves, right? The way any time that they show up, you get this 5 of Cups, you get just upset, and it's just not worth it. But maybe it is. I don't know. That's where the Ace of Swords really has to give you that direction and give you that clarity. Okay, I'm just reading the energy as I see it. There's no indication here what you should or should not do. Okay, this is just a snapshot of the energy as it is right now. So there is this this kind of family vibe, right? And I think, as I said, your biggest asset right now is your sense of love and compassion. Okay, I think that you are definitely a very compassionate person. You're someone who's very forgiving and very loving, very affectionate. Even though it's kind of like bit you in the butt before, you know, it's kind of backfired on you. But I don't think that you're really going to change your fundamental nature, because I think you are a very loving and caring person. But at the same time, you need to know when to say enough is enough. Okay? So your biggest asset, yes, is love and affection and care, but love for yourself, I think, self-preservation, self-care, your own health and well-being has to come first. And I think that's part of the decision, because, you know, Two of Cups is kind of showing us two different paths, two kind of opposites. Where are you going to put this love energy? Into this other person or into yourself? Is there enough for both? How is this going to play out? Just something to consider as this situation unfolds for you. Okay. And then we see another air sign person. This, I think, is the same air sign person as here. We go from the Princess to the Knight. This is in your fears, worries, and concerns position. This is like the fear that, look, this person's never going away. So it's almost like, what choice do I have but to accept them back in and try? It's almost like keep your enemies close, right? So that you can kind of keep a control over things, you know? So this is almost saying, look, I'm not going to be able to get rid of this person. This problem, this situation is never going to go away. So you might as well bring them in, accept them. That way you can kind of keep an eye on things, keep things under control, and you can keep them close so you can make sure that things are going well, right? That's just an idea. That's just something that I think is going to be at the back of your mind, like, what choice do I really have? Because this person's not leaving. They keep coming back. So maybe we try a different approach, okay? The final card on the path of the Serpent is the Ten of Wands. Now, this is the fiery energy that seems like it's inexhaustible. And again, I think you've had a lot of fiery energy in your readings because I think you are a very ambitious person. You're a very strong leader. I think you have a lot of things going on, a lot of responsibilities, a lot of irons in the fire. I still feel like you're kind of running your own business or something. So there's a lot of energy that you need to put into other things in your life, right? We can't spend every week talking about this same thing. There's a lot of other things going on, right? So with all of this, even taking into account everything that we've already said, you have a responsibility to other people, other businesses, associates, you know, other areas of your life need your energy and your attention. And that is yet another factor, another thing to keep in mind. That you don't have an infinite store of time or energy. You know, you can only spread yourself so thin. You can only stretch the rubber band so far before it snaps, right? So it's something else to keep in mind. And with all of this air energy, it's a lot of things in mind. Keeping a lot of things in mind. There's a lot of different thoughts going on, a lot of opposing energies, right? A lot of black and white, a lot of, you know, this or that, and just a lot of air, okay? Let's look at this mystery card now, because I'm curious if this is going to maybe be some earth energy, because there's kind of a lack of earth right here. It seems like there's just so many thoughts, opposing thoughts, conflicting energies. We need some practical steps moving forward, right? What do you actually do? How do you actually handle this? The only earth that we have is that Hierophant card so far. Well, we've got some more fire. We've got a Knight of, what they call it, blades. Actually, this is the same as the Knight of Swords, okay? You can tell I don't use this Antique Anatomy deck very often. These two cards are the same. We have another Knight of Swords. So this again is telling me that, look, a lot of this fiery energy is wrapped up in this this air situation, this relationship issue, this interpersonal problem that we have. This is where, it feels like this is where all of your energy is going. Okay? All of your fire, all of your vitality is being funneled into this air situation. Okay? So I think that it's really time once and for all to figure out a different approach to things. It's like you have to really now, especially with the knights of the suit, right? The Knight of Swords. You really have to figure out a way to master this problem, right? Not just the practical steps that are going to take care of it now, because as we've seen in the past readings, these things are temporary. We think that we've got a handle on it, but then it comes back. So we need to find a way to really master all of this air energy, okay? And to be honest with you, I don't know the way forward from that, with that energy. But I do know that all of your vitality seems to be focused on this air energy, okay? So I think at the minimum, it's time for a different approach. It's time to try something a little bit different. And maybe it is this idea of just keeping this person close to you so that you can kind of, that you can handle them a little bit, right? And that kind of touches on the Hierophant too. Being that mentor, trying to kind of mold this person, not just for their sake, not just because that's how you are, you're a very loving and giving, generous person. No, but it's for your own well-being too. You know what I mean? So there's a selfish motive here as well, right? It's the Two of Cups, the love and compassion put onto another person. It's the love and compassion to put back on ourselves too, right? So you're not just doing this out of the goodness of your heart to help this person. You're doing it because you're trying to help yourself too, by just finally getting a handle on this entire air situation, right? So I think you got your work cut out for you, and I hate that this person's back, but I think it's talking about there's a greater lesson here, you know what I mean? And we started out saying that this was a learning experience for you, that this was something that you're going to try to find the silver lining, and I think that's what it is, just figuring out how to get a handle on this air energy in general, right? Use it as a learning experience. There's a deeper message here than just simply that person and your conflict with them, right? It's more general than that. Anyway, we're going to do an extended. If you want to stick around, click on the link that's right here. This was your weekly tarot reading for February 19th through 25th on Dove and Serpent Tarot.